And welcome. It's a Tuesday night, and this is the League of Anarchy Fantasy Football Podcast on the Sports Crew Radio Network. And yes, come on. I've told you a million times that go ahead and follow them. There's a million shows. They do baseball, basketball, hockey, gambling. So go to thesportscrew.com and listen to all their shows. And we are down to 4. And 4 is all that came on the show tonight.
Fucking pussies.
Exactly. Again, I don't know who out there wants to hear about us trashing each other and making fun of losers and everything when they're either out of their own leagues or battling their own playoffs. But guys, it's week 14. It's been exciting. We have 3 of the people here got to pick their opponent. Obviously, that worked out. Ho Smasher didn't get a pick. He got stuck with Mr. Ben Stelzer, but obviously that worked out. And
because nobody wanted to play him.
Yeah, nobody wanted to play Ben. I know, because everyone was worried about
nobody wanted to play Jim.
Oh, no one wanted to play Jim.
No,
I was worried more about Ben than Jim, to be real honest.
I said that on the thing. I didn't want to play his ass.
Ben had the second lowest points. TJ had the lowest 150.
Yeah, but the point was that's post. We were all worried about the Browns versus the Bengals. That's all we were worried about. So it quickly turned, and I think we need to bring it up next year. I think it worked out perfect that we picked during the show on Tuesday night. But do you think we should pick on Tuesday night? A lot of shit was changing during the week that made people go, and I did too. I mean, I got, all of a sudden Thielen wasn't going to play. I had something, I'd like 2 things. Brady was hurt, so all of a sudden you're like, shit, maybe I should have picked somebody else.
By that point, you ought to know better.
Well, it's not.
It's tough.
You probably already know who you're going to play.
I didn't like it anyway. I didn't like it at first, but I'll tell you, I like the way that it worked out. I do.
The only reason I think, like, if we would have waited, I think it makes it a little harder for who get to pick if we do it earlier, which is good because, like, you don't want them to have a full, complete, now I know all of Clay's guys are out, so I'm going to pick Clay.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. I agree.
Yeah, I think it gives the lower seeds a chance at least. I mean, I'm always going to be a higher seed, so it doesn't matter. But
you are either your MO is high seed or no seed.
Yeah,
So don't act like I'm a high seed because I'm high all the time. It's because next year you'll be at the bottom. So that's
I haven't been in the bottom in 4 years. All right.
Okay. Everyone keeps saying that. Every time we have a podcast, everyone goes, I'm never at the bottom. Well, someone's at the bottom every year.
4 years ago, when my daughter was born,
you were at the bottom.
I was bad at fantasy.
So you've made the playoffs 4 years in a row?
I missed one, but I was just out. I made it 3 years in a row.
That still means you were 4. One of 4 teams that was.
You're still at the bottom.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I would say if you didn't make the playoffs in this league, you were at the bottom. And obviously,
it's not bad.
Ho Smasher, who his first year in the league is in the playoffs after that 0-500 start or whatever it was. I forget. He hadn't won a game in 6 weeks, and now here he is.
I made it my first year after 4 losses in a row.
There you go. See, well then, hell,
I think starting the season, you're at a little bit of an advantage.
Well, people, right? I mean, I think when you start out not winning,
but you played fantasy before, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, it's not my first league.
I never even played.
I think what happens though, people, I've noticed that too. I think people who lose early they tend to make more moves early and do a few things. Now, Jim, it took a few. He went a few weeks it'll turn around. And then finally he made some moves. And I do think that's the difference. People who lose make moves and their teams get better. And then all of a sudden it's a surprise how good they are. And then you have, I don't want to make fun. TJ did make some moves, so I don't want to say it that way. But you had Ben who hardly made any moves and boom, he's done. TJ hardly made any moves towards the end. He was done, because they thought they were so. I mean, Reed started out awesome. No, he didn't do anything because people are afraid. And that's what I've learned in fantasy. your team can never be good enough and you can't be satisfied. Last week doesn't mean as much as you think. So you have to look forward. And I've just noticed in this league, I said it's not uncommon for teams to quickly turn because they don't do anything. Do you find that, Brody, that if you're winning, you're less likely to? And you didn't make a ton of moves.
Yeah, not with me. Yeah, I didn't make as.
You did make a move early. Getting Watson for me made your team pretty strong.
I made a lot of moves early. I mean, I got rid of George Kittle like week 2, and he was one of my keepers.
Yeah.
I mean, I ended up getting Darren Waller out of that, which has been helpful. Other than last week, he didn't do that well. But no, I mean, if my team's doing good, I'm not gonna just trade away my team necessarily, but I'm always looking for trades because I know where my weak spots are. When I was going into the playoffs this year, honestly, this year's I feel like I have the strongest team I've had in the playoffs, mainly because like if an injury does go down, yes, I don't have fucking Dalek's backup, but other than that, I feel like I have a really good solid bench to where I can make up for it if I really had to. But I mean, you always got to make trades.
You said that last year that it was the best team you've ever had going in the playoffs,
and this year's better.
This year's even better. Okay, I see where you're going. Now, did having a handcuff? How do I say this? In your mind now, will you pay more? Do you think you did the right thing by not having the handcuff, or next year will you pay more attention to that as it gets later in the season?
I mean, honestly, didn't he had Madison? Clay had Madison a couple weeks ago, correct?
He's had him for a little while, actually.
Yeah. Half of my thought, and I knew he had him, half of my thought, if I remember correctly, at one point I saw him and thought about it, but just being on Clay's team, I was like, he'll ask for like DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah. So I just didn't even go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but that being said, though, why didn't you pick him up sooner too, though, I guess would be part of it.
Yeah, I know. I would say that was probably a mistake. I didn't really think of it at that time. But again, I just felt confident with the team that I had too. Right. I mean, I have 3 running backs on my bench that could play and give me at least 12 points every week still. I mean, I benched Lindsey last week, which was a mistake, but he got 17 points, and Freeman, the backup for Lindsey, got 12 points. And then, now I'm probably going to end up benching James White.
That's the philosophy I take early in the season.
Yeah.
Then as the season moves, I try to get handcuffs. And be honest, I'll even sometimes, if I can't get the handcuff, I'll sometimes trade the better running back to get to maybe get 2 players and then get a player where I can to get their handcuff. I don't want to get stuck without. So I do, like if I couldn't have got, Zeke Elliott's backup and I had Zeke and the other person just wasn't willing to give him up and blah, blah, I would be more willing than to trade Zeke. Now, I'm not going to give him away. I'm going to turn him into some good, what my point would be. Now I'm more willing. All right, well, I'll just trade Zeke then. Hell, if you're going to hold me hostage, I'll just trade again, I forget what the movie is where the guy's like, we're not going to do anything. I have a hostage. So we just, he takes the guy, he shoots the hostage and goes there. Now, wait, we get it. I mean, that's, sometimes you're like, all right, now I don't have you can't hold me hostage anymore. He's dead.
Yeah.
Jim,
made a mistake.
What early move? Are you still going to stick with the trade that you made with Magel to get this far as where your season turned around?
I definitely wouldn't be in the playoffs without it, but really, I don't think it was one specific trade, but more of just a change of mindset. I came into the league where the only leagues I'd ever played in that it wasn't very active trade wise. It was just waiver hunting. And then, most people drafted pretty strong and that remained their core group of guys for the rest of the season. But I found out pretty quickly in this league that you got to make some moves if you want any shot at being competitive.
And is so did that make this league more fun for you then? At first people are hesitant, like, well, that trade and stuff seems like it'll, I won't like it. But then most people, once they do it a few times, go, well, this was kind of fun. Obviously if it works out, I've known people that make 1 or 2 trades that don't work out and then they don't do it again ever, because they're scared. But unfortunately, that's part of, that's just part of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely exciting. I got on a little bit of a trade binge there. At the
end. Were really active the last couple of days.
After that trade deadline passed, I wasn't really sure what to do with myself in the days in between game day. But Honestly, my original hesitation about trading was just I didn't really know what I needed, and the only person I was really getting requests from was a certain commissioner that was just sending me like 5 ridiculous trade requests every single day. So I just became a daily ritual to I've log in, check my lineup, decline Clay's trades, and then go from there.
Honestly, I think we were all worried about you after week 1 because you came on the podcast. Was it week 1? I think you came on.
It was the first podcast.
Yeah, and you literally were like, "Yeah, I'll just play on the waivers," and that's what I've always done in the past. And like, I remember we all got off, and I was like, "I'm worried about Jim. He's just going to play off the waivers. There's going to be nothing there, man."
Well, and I think it was fun that like week 3. I think he skipped a week, and then like week 3 again. He went, "How's this fucking waiver thing work? You got, I've been last every time, because he didn't know the rule and didn't realize he's like, I don't know how I can't win, but then I'm always at the low waiver order. But, that makes it fun. Megal, and you're newer. It's your 3rd year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And each year you learn stuff, right? I mean, about the league, about people in the league, and then obviously about your own knowledge of fantasy. So,
I've learned a ton with it. I've spent more time this year looking at my phone because I don't. Me, I don't look at my phone hardly at all. And looking at this for trades or whatever, I've spent more time this year than I spent in the first 2 years times 10.
Now,
I mean, I enjoy it now. I look at something. I'm actually thinking of using my waiver this week because I've got some guys that possibly might not play, and I've learned a ton, especially with the trading. And
now, the way you're even saying that, I find early on new fantasy people, or especially if they're football people but not fantasy people, they almost look at fantasy like it's not something you can learn, meaning it's just all luck or you just draft better and that's it. But in the last 3 years, have you learned it is a learning process, meaning you can learn things. There's tips and tricks. And
there's so much more to this fantasy thing than I ever even thought about. I mean, really, it's completely different than knowing the game or being a fan of the game. It takes you to a whole different level, in my opinion.
All right. And I'd like to hear that because, again, that's what I did early on. Like I said, the first year Zach was in it and I just helped Zach. And I kind of was that way. And I knew enough about football to help Zach with just players when he would ask me, hey, who's better, this guy or that guy, that kind of stuff. Then the first year when I got in it, I was the same way. I went 0-3 or 0-4 and went, well, hey, wait a minute. I thought I drafted decent people. And then you just finally realize, well, blah, blah, blah. And then I started realizing, again, quickly studying or learning, wait a minute, this is something you can learn. There's numbers here. There's, some of the best fantasy people aren't even football watchers. So when people say I don't play fantasy because I don't like football or I don't like to watch football, sometimes I look at them and go, it's not about football. Football is just a scorekeeping part. The numbers and the percentages and all that really is more math than it is fantasy in some part. The football part's just the fun part to watch. It's like playing poker where the cards can move and do things for you. Well, once the hands are dealt, you just sit back and watch the table and see what your cards do. And I think that's fun, but you really don't have to know, the game of football. Now, does it help to know players and stuff like that? To a point, but even then, some people will say players' names can get in the way of real stats. Some people get good at this because they don't know. They don't care that it's Cooks. They don't care that it's Zeke. They just go, wait, based on these numbers, this should be a good player. Yeah. So Mago, I'm glad to see that you're actually, realizing it is a learned game or a game that can be learned.
Well, and the other thing that I really enjoy about it that I've actually brought more enjoyment from is that you actually like to watch the second and third best players. You're not just watching, Barkley's doing great this year or whoever. You're watching like the third, fourth.
Right.
You're watching guys
that are your flex
the 20th best running back in the league. Yeah, I'll pick him up. And you actually watch. I could watch football all day Sunday. Yeah.
Instead of just the Bengals for a half and then they're losing.
Yeah. And then you're pissed off and you turn
we
off.
don't get Sunday. We do not get many people in the thing. Math Quest. I realized I had a sit-start show. But Tannehill is by far. Yeah, we have someone actually asking the question tonight.
All right.
Tannehill or Rodgers So let me ask first: Does any of us four have Tannehill or Rodgers? I don't think we do.
No.
I think so.
I have Aaron Rodgers.
You do have Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
stand
that's
him.
right. I traded him to you.
No, I got him from Tharp.
Oh, that's right. I traded him to
You can't even keep track of your
I
trades,
can't.
Mark.
I can't keep track. I'm a believer. Back to you can learn this game. I'm a believer in if I've made it to the playoffs, I've gotten this far. I'm playing my better players. I'm playing the players I drafted. I would have trouble not playing Aaron Rodgers, even though Tannehill's
Who's
on a
Tannehill
roll.
playing?
Rodgers come on strong at the end of the year.
Rodgers,
Who's Tannehill playing?
Tannehill has the Texans.
Oh, okay.
And Aaron Rodgers, let me see, Packers. He has the Bears. Now, that's the problem with Aaron Rodgers. The Bears can have a good defense, but Aaron Rodgers normally beats them pretty good. I struggle this time of year not playing my better players, which is back to what we talked about at the beginning, having handcuffs and stuff. I don't like having these decisions. I would have never had these two guys on my team. Tannehill was easy to pick up. Rodgers had I don't think this year Rodgers had back-to-back bad weeks either. I don't know.
He has. He's extremely underperformed this year. 'Cause I have him in my other league too, and I've had him all year, and he's let me down countless weeks.
Yeah, he had 15 points, then 11, and then 11.
All right. So
That was 3 weeks in a row. Pretty bad.
Well, in our league, that's low. Some scoring's different. I don't know though. It's still I've heard this from other fantasy people. When it's this kind of a decision, what will you sleep better? If I lost my semifinals in the playoffs because I sat Aaron Rodgers, I would be more pissed at myself for the rest of the year than if I lost because I didn't play Tannehill. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Meaning if Tannehill does okay, but Rodgers goes off on my bench and I lose by 12 or something like that, I'll be more pissed at myself than going, hey, I've had Rodgers all year. He's come and gone. I drafted him earlier. I'll take my shot. So sometimes I do it based on how can I sleep better at night the rest of the off. Because again, we won't have football for 6, 7, 8 months. So it makes it hard. All right. Again, there's no losers here. Bunch up. Jeez.
There is.
Easy.
Until Monday.
I'm looking at one right above me, baby.
Right above.
You're going down.
That's right. Notice. Right. I have got Megal down here. And B-Rod and Ho Smasher are going. Now, Brody, when you were the first to pick, is this the way you hoped it would fall? Or did you hope Ho Smasher would be who you have in the semifinals?
I'm not saying Ho Smasher is the guy I wanted to play, but out of the 4 that are here, out of the 3, I would put my money that I could beat Ho Smasher next week. The only reason I could beat Megal this week is just based off of his injuries. If he didn't have all his injuries, I'd be scared. But he's got a lot of injuries right now. Calvin Ridley out. Jared Cook probably out.
Possibly.
Who's the other one? Devontae Parker.
Yeah.
Parker.
I don't know about him. I haven't heard anything about him.
Yeah, Parker they haven't said yet. So
what was Winston? Winston's questionable.
No, he was questionable, but they said he's practicing. He's playing. Okay. He's still marked as questionable, but they're saying he's playing.
Right. I mean, but it's still early. I mean, we get a lot of questionables this time of the year in the middle of the week. Yeah. I mean, I have Tom Brady as questionable. I have Derrick Henry as questionable. Actually, I thought I had Keenan Allen now, but he's not. I obviously have Thielen is still as questionable, which I really hoped I'd had him back last week. I obviously lost Geis. I wasn't playing him, but he was a good backup. Now he's one of my keepers, so I kind of have to hang on to him now. But yeah, 1 week turns a lot. Now, me and Megal, the worst part about playing Megal is we both have great matchups this week. I mean, if you look, we both have good matchups. Now, based on ESPN, it has me at 210 right now and Megal at 181. Those are projections, which again, anybody watches this enough or pays attention, those numbers are questionable.
I changed some things too.
Oh, did you already?
Yeah, my projections went up a little bit.
Let me refresh.
It just gives you an idea, a rough idea.
Yeah, I know.
And,
It just gives you a rough idea that I'm better than you, Magel. That's
Yeah,
all.
I'm more like I'm more like 198.
So we do
You're
have
the
number,
underdog.
We do have the number 1, 2, and
I'd
3.
rather be the
And
underdog.
Jim, you're a 5th or 6th seed? What'd you end up being?
6th.
Yeah, you are a 6th seed. So we have a 1, 2, and 3, and then the 6th. Okay,
I think this
now has
is the
Magel
best-
projected at 198. I'm at 210. We have
Okay.
2-time Super Bowl appearance, never won one, whatever the hell
It's
your
about
name
to be
is.
3-time, baby.
Yeah. You are projected at 195, and Smashing Hose is Dirty Hose is 185. So I mean, technically those are all pretty close. I mean, there's not one that's 50 points more. Now, your best player this week is predicted to be Watson and Cook and Prescott. Do you feel good with your 3 top players there, Brody?
Yeah, I do. They all have good matchups. I mean, Prescott plays the Rams defense, which, I mean, they're pretty good, but I'm not too worried. He usually can put up numbers anyways.
You're not worried about you're not worried about Cook getting one hit and maybe being set out of the game because
that's all
they've the problem with them is the Vikings have already,
I know,
guaranteed playoff.
I've been rooting against the Vikings for the past weeks. I'm like, just fucking lose a game for once. My God. Yeah, that I always hate that because that has screwed me in the past.
And they have a good backup and he's somewhat injured.
Yeah.
So all that becomes a little scary. And are you fine with Dak Prescott, who has not done? I mean, obviously he was great at the beginning of the season. He mellowed a little bit. Then he had a couple good games, and then he got, he's mellowed again. Are you fine with him?
Yeah, I mean, really, he hasn't done terrible. He had a bad week 3 weeks ago against New England, which is understandable. But I mean, I'm happy with him because my quarterback situation before him, I had Cam Newton. And then when I got rid of him, who did I pick up? Because I can't remember. I had Kirk Cousins,
right?
Which at the time was really bad, and I just straight up dropped him. So I mean, I got Dak Prescott for I think I gave up Matt Breida. I gave up Matt Breida for Dak Prescott to TJ.
Right.
So I mean, it's literally I'm happy with whatever.
Now the other person on your team though that's questionable, and tonight I heard 2 people on a podcast talk that they doubt he plays. And that's Shark. Are you worried about Shark not playing?
A little bit, but he did play last week for me. I still have James White I could put in there that has a good matchup.
You have him right now in your flex, right? You do have some, and the problem with White, but White's the same way. You never know with White.
No, you never know.
If the weather's, weird, they might just give Sony Michel the ball every time.
I would probably not. It would take a lot for me to play Will Fuller this week, especially because he's questionable.
We have Eckler too. Eckler's been pretty awesome the last few weeks.
Yeah, but I'm like, where is Eckler? I don't have him on my.
Yeah.
I have Eckler down there too.
All right, so you're pretty good back-wise. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it if he has to go out.
The healthy guy on your team that I'm worried about now who's struggling is Lockett. Are you struggling considering keeping Lockett in your lineup?
Yeah, that's making me nervous because, I mean, I think it's been 2 weeks in a row of pretty much nothing. Yeah, that's worrisome for me.
All right.
I feel like it's hard to not play a guy like that. Like, I mean, like what you were talking about earlier, if you know football, you know the names, so you end up playing the names. But he's a guy though too that he doesn't have to have all these good weeks in a row. He can just bust out 100-yard, 2-touchdown game. So,
all right, I don't disagree. All right, let's go to the number 2 seeds team. That's me. Obviously, my question marks, which I think I have Fournette and Henry. Both have great matchups. Henry's questionable, but they just are, I think the way it said today, they're just setting him out to give him some rest. So I'm not too worried. Thielen is the one that will make my team, I think. I think they've set him out so much now that if they bring him back, he's going to play full. Do you guys agree with that? Would you be worried about playing Thielen this week?
A little bit.
Me personally, I just wouldn't play him. I'd set him on the bench and not worry about it.
Okay. I understand where you're coming from there. And trust me, part of my philosophy's always been don't play him the first week back from injury.
I don't like that either. But he's also one of those guys that, like, literally, I think it was the beginning of the season, he practically didn't catch ball or he'd have like one exception, if I remember correctly.
No, he came in and played one play and then went out.
Okay.
Week where he only had one play.
Okay.
What about you, Jim? Maybe you'll give me a more honest answer. Would you have a problem? Would you play Adam Thielen if he was starting this week?
I mean, for me, only if news came out that for whatever reasons that he ended up being ruled out last week has been, cleared up, and you can specifically see that he's confident that he feels ready to go and the coaching staff feels confident, which usually if you monitor their situations, that questionable will change to either out or doubtful. If I see that D pop up one time this week, he's staying on the bench. But other than that, I think you'd have to monitor. That's just one of those situations where you wait until right before kickoff. And I think if it comes out that he's playing, you got to
Well, the problem is my team has been running back heavy all year. I've never had more than two or three decent wide receivers, and I really don't still. Meaning if Thielen doesn't play for me, now see, I could deal with Thielen playing and only maybe getting me 10 or 12 points. I think my team's strong enough to survive him doing that. I just don't want to survive him getting me a 0. But
well, again, you have to thank the Vikings again.
Yeah.
They've already clinched too.
I know.
Why play a guy who's coming off an injury? So
well, I think it's the opposite. Cook, I don't think they want to get hurt worse and not have him.
Well,
I would think maybe Thielen, they want to get him a game or two to make sure he is going to be better, because of the kind of injury, a leg injury, hamstring.
there's still 3 weeks left. So,
But like you said too, they did play him the one game. Said he was ready to go. He came in for one play and he was back out. So
Yeah, I know.
yeah, I hope that happens. I hope you start him and he does that.
Well, the other issue is that that would stick me with like Stills or Fitzgerald, which hopefully either one of those could maybe get me those 8 or 10 points. Cooks, man, I don't want to say I got a steal. I kind of got Cooks in a deal where I kind of got him for somebody I was going to have to cut anyway to make my to be able to pick up a kicker or whatever. But they don't look at him at all. I don't think I would start a Thielen.
So would I.
Starting well over Cook. So
Cook's he's practically.
And
he's
then
nothing.
the rest of my team is three handcuffs for my running backs. So because that's my strength, I have Fournette, Henry, and Barkley. Barkley hasn't done great, but I hope it's this week, Mago. And actually, the next 2 weeks, I hope they just finally realize just hand him the damn ball.
It's the same thing with Bell. They've done the same thing with Le'Veon Bell, but he's still consistently, except for last week and a half.
Let's move to your team, and obviously Le'Veon Bell would be the person we would first bring up on your team.
But he's scored me a consistent 20 to 25 points every week.
Okay, but this week it's a little different. One, he had a weird injury.
Oh yeah.
Well, some people now are even questioning if it was
sick.
Injury. Well,
he was sick.
Then there's video of him out bowling Saturday night.
He was sick. He wasn't. They said it was mainly a.
I know what he was saying.
It was a contagious thing. They were worried about getting the rest of the team sick.
The team is not happy that he was out bowling Saturday.
He's missing his off-season party time that he had when he held out.
He's got another
he's playing this long.
But yes,
it's bowling. Who cares? You're going bowling.
As Bill Belichick would say, just do your job.
And then obviously you have Cook, who could the odds. I've heard Cook isn't playing now.
There's no way.
Yeah, I don't think so. Parker, they also say is a good shot at not playing. Winston, I think you're okay. Obviously we'll know more.
Well, I'm obviously going to have to make some moves with my waiver and some other stuff to make sure that I have a little more. I've got one spot on my bench and hopefully put, 1 or 2 guys on there and I've still got 1 or 2 bench players that can help me out.
Brown, Curtis Samuel. I've been a Curtis Samuel guy all year. He's not done what some, people thought he would do, but he has potential. They throw him the ball.
He's one of those guys that, 2 weeks he's not going to do shit. And then, oh God, the next week he throws up 25 points.
9, 17, 15, 7, 6, 17, 6. So, All right. So you're feeling pretty, and the problem with, and I know you have them both, and I saw when you picked them up, you have Powell and Montgomery, and now they both are questionable. But
One
even
of them's gone. I just picked him up because I had an open bench spot and I didn't know, in case one of them went off, and that way I didn't want somebody picking them up and I had to use my waiver for that.
Well, then let's move on now to Ho Smasher. Jim, where do you think your weakness is this week on your lineup?
Honestly, I feel good about the whole injury situation.
Yeah, your team, you don't hardly have any questionable. You don't have really,
both the guys that are questionable probably wouldn't have made it into my lineup anyway. That being said,
Fant went off last week though. Woo.
Yeah, come on, man.
I mean, and I'm actually really excited about Noah Fant. I mean, he's definitely going to be one of my keepers, and I think he could turn into a real asset moving forward, but not something I would trust in the fantasy playoffs over George Kittle, of course. But matchups is what I'm worried about. I have very mediocre matchups, so I think I can confidently say that my team will probably score somewhere between 160 and 190, which is, it's not bad, but it's not great. So I think the determining factor of this little matchup I have with Brody is going to be, is Brody's team going to have a bad week, or are they going to have a good week?
Right, because if Brody's team has a good week, you're in trouble, probably, regardless what your team does.
I don't think my team has the same upside this week, at least this week, that his does.
Right.
I mean, the one thing you have to think of, you do have not the greatest matchups, mainly because the Minnesota Chargers game, you have Gordon against Minnesota, you got Diggs against the Chargers, so that's tough. But really, when it comes to matchups, it's not really everything, because there's many I've had bad matchups and my guy still went off.
Well, so, Aaron Rodgers is more likely to go off when he has a hard matchup than when he has a good matchup.
Yeah. Well, also Chicago, like you were saying, they always beat Chicago. So, I could see him having a good what did you do last time against Chicago?
Who?
I'm trying to find it here.
The problem is it was
Rodgers.
Early in they played Chicago.
Yeah, it was.
He had 15 points week one.
Okay.
203 yards TD. Right. But still, people say that if your team does okay, you can usually survive with your quarterback getting you 15, 60. Sure. Do we want 40 out of Drew Brees? Yes. But, if everyone, and I've said that before too, I don't mind if all my guys do what they're projected to do. I'd rather all my guys get projections than one get 47 and then 3 get 5s. But that's how I won this week against Clay. I won because of 2 or 3 guys that had big weeks. So, it made a huge difference for me. So, I agree. Jim, luckily, like I said, you just don't have injuries to worry about. So it's really just set your lineup and go. So,
yeah, but they can, just like me this week, 2 or 3 guys possibly out, and 2 of mine went out in the second quarter early.
Well, that's the worst, obviously.
It happens real quick.
Yeah. There's nothing you can do about that.
No.
It's out of your hands.
Thank God they scored points before they went out.
Yeah. A couple of them did that.
Yeah.
So luckily none of us have any of the major injuries, like Mike Evans is now lost and all that. But hey, I think it's going to be exciting. I think it's 4 good teams. I could imagine if all of us score about 180 to 195 in that area, and all of us would go, blah, blah, blah. But like I said, last year at this point, me and Brody thought that, and I scored a 118. My whole team shit the bed that week.
Last year,
and then Brody shit the bed the next week.
Yeah. Last year we thought our game. We thought our game in the semifinals was the finals. We're like, whoever wins this, they won the whole thing. So we're like, we're good here. Yeah, that was bad. That was real bad.
You beat me by like 100 points. So,
and then I lost by 100 points the next
it kind of suck. I'm in my semifinals, and we're like, it's like 310, and I'm like, I'm out already. It's literally was like 2 hours into the semifinals on a Sunday, and I'm like, I don't even have to watch. It's done. It's over. I was going to look. I always like to look. Do we have any big Monday night? Will this come down to a Monday night thing? Do you got? Does anybody look?
Let's see.
Who plays Monday night? It could actually. It's the Colts and the Saints. So I'm going to have my Breeze. So Breeze, my quarterback, will be going.
Does Magel have anybody?
Night.
Only one I have is if Cook plays.
It would be Cook. Which is still good for me. And I already thought that. Even if Cook plays, if Cook goes off, it's my quarterback throwing him the ball. So I'm not really as worried about that.
Cook. But if I'm 30 points ahead of you, it's a little different.
Well, if you're 30 points ahead of me and Cook doesn't play, but Breeze does, like I said, last week Breeze got me 47. I can.
Hey, I got a question for you, Mark.
Yeah.
If when you don't win next week, are you still going to do the podcast?
Sure. Yeah, I'm not the guy. I mean, again, we have a lot of losers here that are just truly.
I can't believe they didn't show up. I can't believe them.
Well, when your brother texted, I won't be on tonight, I knew he was the one because I thought at least Kyle would. Kyle's been the one most excited, even though his team has sucked all year. He's really been involved in the podcast. And he just, bam, I'm out.
I thought Kevin would come on. We haven't seen him. We might as well pop on.
Yeah. I mean, a bunch of pussies.
I know. That's another thing, Mark, when you were asking, how I've liked playing the last couple of years. I mean, have you ever known me to be a technology guy? And I've never I've never heard, much less been on a podcast. The first podcast I heard was League of Anarchy, and the next week I was on it. So, and within 2 weeks, I could sign myself on.
Now, do you get excited now on Tuesday nights when it's time?
Yeah.
It's like, I get to do it.
I look forward to, went and held my grandson tonight, and I'm like, gotta go.
I got a podcast.
Yeah, Clay's the only one with an excuse tonight. The only one.
Come on. So if I have a baby between now and next week, I'll still be here.
Yeah. You have excuse.
Now, Mego, I did talk to one of your, people you work with. They said you were moaning and groaning a little today. Were you having some aches and pains today from, last night?
Well, I did sprain my ankle within the first 2 minutes. I turned it a little bit. Yeah, it's a little tender. So
you should definitely tell them what you guys did last night. I mean, you're feeling a little sore from last.
Three of us here played basketball last night.
That's funny.
Jim, I guess, are you not a hoopster, Jim? You don't want to play some ball with us, but
I don't need elderly abuse to be added to my laundry list of crimes.
Oh, I'm not a basketball player. I get abused for an hour and a half while I'm out there.
No. You do not abuse. I get abused from your ass. Well, I go up any shot I go up for, hack the fuck out of me every time. You hacked me like 4 times last night.
You jumped over my back like 14 times last night. I still have red marks on the back of my head.
Oh, whatever.
Your bony ass elbows hit me in the damn back of the head.
This sounds more like a porn thing than
I know, but it was fun, right? Mego, you coming back?
Oh, I'll be there every week.
That's what Zach said last night. Zach and Mego will be in.
No, I love that stuff. I actually ran before I went there and then worked out. And
it's a fun group of people. Yeah. Nobody gets too mad or upset, and and a lot of harassment goes on. So actually, I think we smack talk more during that about basketball than we even do football while we're playing. But that's the thing. Next week we'll be playing basketball just before Breeze comes out and scores enough for me to win. I'll be excited. I
won't even need to watch. Hopefully it'll be
I will. Well, the good thing again, luckily Breeze has set a mark with 47. You'd have to beat me by 47 for me to go, well, maybe.
Hey, Winston scored up in the 40s too. So
yeah, I know both of our quarterbacks.
Not real worried, and they are playing Detroit.
I don't think none of it. Right, I don't think any of us really have Colts players. Those, as far as what I saw, we don't have any Colts. No. Sunday night is Pittsburgh Bills. I don't think any of us have many on that team either. So
just for Pitt, baby.
Well, let me look real quick. I'm already on.
I'll pretty much know I'm moving on by Sunday at 4:00.
Well, unfortunately, Jim's team's pretty even. Jim has, 4 people going at 1. He's got 3 or 4 going at 4. He's got a couple, one going at 8:30 and one goes Thursday. He has Mark Ingram on Thursday. So Obviously, Jim will know. Jim will have all his points in the book by Sunday night because as of right now, Steelers are his defense playing Sunday night.
Oh, yeah.
So let me go then to Brody. Brody,
It's a 405 game, so
you got a bunch of
405,
405.
25. But,
Well, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 5 at 1. Okay, yeah. Oh, so Jim Brody will be done in the first 2 groups on Sunday. So you'll have a Sunday night and to settle in with.
Don't ruin this. Don't ruin this Steelers game for me, man.
A hoe will be smashed.
Yes. So you guys will know your teams will be. You guys will be done Sunday night unless one of you pick up or change something. That's pretty exciting. So
Brody, if you lose, will you be on next week?
I'll be on next week.
No, you liar.
Don't worry about me.
We should have had there should be a penalty if the 4 of us, we really do have to be on next week just now to just smile. We need to talk about the week coming up. What do you got, Megal? You got, see what your time frames are here for.
I'm pretty much done.
Holy God. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
I've been that way all year. It's
you have
pretty much.
Megal literally is done at what did I just do? Oh, I just did something else. Megal is literally done.
Except for Cook by
at 1 o'clock, right? Yeah. Except for Cook on Monday. Oh my God. So you really are done. You can turn the tee off at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, you have the Browns defense. That's it. And right. And Cook would be Monday if you play. So that kind of actually helps me a little bit. It lets me know I can make some moves at the last minute if things seem a little, like I said, if I need points, I leave Thielen in. If I don't need points, I could drop Thielen out. Fitzgerald will get me 8. That old man. And then my team, man, Megal, I didn't realize you had all those 1 o'clock games.
It's been that way for me damn near all year.
And I still have quite a. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones. Then I have a 4, a 4, a 4, a 4, a 4, and then 1. And then my main quarterback is on Monday night. So, there's a chance I won't need Breeze at all on Monday. I'll be able to play basketball knowing I'm in the Super Bowl.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, that sounds like a good night for dunking. I'll be dunking that night. Brody, get out my way. Get out my way.
That's never going to happen.
Well, that should be, hey, all right. So, all right. We don't have much more else, I don't think. Other than
we don't have much more else.
Yeah, I know. Hey,
we don't have much more else.
All right, Clint, you have no room to talk.
Yeah, but my English can be pretty good, but that's pretty bad.
That group chat.
Okay. The problem is now, Megal, I know you're not a technologist and I'm not a vocalist.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I'm pretty good at English, but yeah.
A wordsmith.
It's not a vocalist, yeah.
but the problem is, here's what I've learned when I'm podcasting. I'm bad, and you guys know me. I'm bad enough about talking too fast anyway. But unfortunately, when you're podcasting, there's times I'm trying to think of other shit we need to do or say while I'm talking already.
Talking too fast or talking too much?
All right.
Or too loud.
Loud, yeah.
And people act like I've never said that. So let's just start with Jim. Jim, I'll let you go for as long as you need. What do you want to say to Brody? What do you want to say about this week? You have the floor. You're the lower seed, so you're going to go first here. Go ahead. It's your floor for a few minutes to, tell Brody how it's going to be this week.
I would like to say, Brody's all season has talked about, 2-time Super Bowl appearances. And that's been like almost his nickname. And he's just loved talking about that. I just want to give Brody the comfort that after this week, you can still, for the next season, call yourself the 2-time Super Bowl appearances because you're not getting the 3.
That was pretty
fair enough.
Sweet and
fair
to
enough.
The point. Now, Brody, I'm just going to let you go ahead and dispute.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the word is. But, you get the floor here. You can talk as much smack or whatever you need to go into this next week.
I do want to start giving him a round of applause for his season because it got scary. It got a little Midwest English.
Somebody in the chat room's making fun of my Midwest
English. Is that Jeff Ross's brother?
No, Jim Ross, J.R. Slice, F him. He doesn't like me anyway. He's trash.
okay.
I kicked his ass in baseball. I kicked his ass in fantasy football. He's got nothing left to make fun of my Midwest English.
So in other words, he
salty.
knows you. Yeah.
Yeah, he does know me. Go ahead, Brody.
No, you're good. What I was saying was, you had an impressive season. You came back against all odds, but every good story has to have an ending, and it's not all Disney, man. I know Disney Plus came out, and I'm sure you're spending it every night, but that's just not real life. So you're gonna lose by 40 or more points, and it could be ugly. It could be.
Man, all right, Jim. I'll give you one. I'm putting on. I'll give you one or two quick sentences. Do you wanna come back at him?
Put your money where your mouth is. $5.
He's not allowed. His wife won't let him gamble anymore on fantasy.
$5 that
It's
year.
$5. All right, I'll do $5.
$5 bet. That's where we're going. A $5 bet on this.
All right, that's fair.
So someone's going to go down. We either have the number 6 seed's going to be in the Super Bowl, or the number 1 seed, one way or the other. Well, good luck, both of you. And now my 2 cents about this matchup is me and Zach can't decide what would be worse. Brody getting to the Super Bowl for the 3rd time and have to listen to that shit, or Jim getting to the Super Bowl after going 0-5. We've already heard it for like 13 weeks now. And then we really don't think we want either one of you to win. And it's not just because it's us. We're not sure either one of you will be worth putting up with for the next year.
Everyone's against me, man. Always have been.
You, it's for one reason. We're pretty convinced Jim will not live down that he was 0-47 and wins 1 game and he's a Super Bowl champ.
That's the whole thing. Mark's not just talking about you, Brody. Like
yeah,
you think. He's talking about both of you.
Yeah, Jim.
You two are the biggest shit talkers in the league.
So that's the thing. Me and Zach are both just like, oh Christ, one of them is gonna be in the Super Bowl. So that's why you both have to come back next week. So that
when I engrave the goblet, it's gonna be
engrave the goblet.
1-5 to champion.
We still have a goblet here, and
beautiful.
We'll work on getting the engraving and all that done and everything. Megal, I mean, I hate to put it this way, but you are the lower seed in this matchup. So I'm gonna let you go first. You know what? What do you think? What do you have to say to me or anyone else about this matchup this week?
I think it's going to be a good matchup. I think it's probably going to come down to a couple points like the last time we played. Even if I do have a few injuries, I've got a few people I can plug in, hoping that a couple of your players shit the bed. And I don't know. We'll see. I think it's going to be extremely interesting. I think ours is going to be really close. I think Host Smasher and B-Rod's going to be a blowout one way or the other. That's just my prediction. And I'm not predicting either one because, to tell you the truth, I think either team can go either way. But I don't think either one. It really depends on some of the news that comes out in the next day or two with my team, because I've got, quite a few players questionable. That's obviously going to hurt me. But if they can play, I think you and I's matchup's going to be real close, and that was why I said that I really did not want to play you in the second week, because of your matchups in the second week scared me more than the first week. I would have rather played you last week, and I would have smoked you.
Yeah, I was the lowest score of all 4 of us.
And I was right there, and this week scares me, especially with a few of my key players out. So we'll see how it goes. But like I said, I think Jimmy and I think the Host Smasher B-Rod's just going to be one way or the other. And I'm not predicting one way or the other.
You just think it's going to be a blowout. One of them's going to shit the bed.
One of them's going to shit the bed. The other one's not. And I don't know. I think you and I is going to be within a couple points.
All right.
That's my prediction. And, I'm not that much of a shit talker because I think it jinxes me.
You really do suck at this, shit talking.
I'll get better at it. It's something I'm working at, but I think it jinxes me sometimes. So I try to stay away from it.
sees. I haven't.
Don't believe it.
I hear a lot of people, especially with Brody. I've never played.
But see, Brody talks the most shit in the world, and he's the 2-time Super Bowl appearer. I want to be the 2-time Super Bowl winner.
But now, in private, though, Brody will tell you, I shit talk Brody all the time when we're playing.
Oh, no, I know. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I will nudge people usually individually. And I made smart ass comments to Clay this week a few times. And I had a few people say, ooh, pretty confident already. Because I don't believe that jinxes me. I'm not one of those people. So,
don't get me wrong. I'm still confident.
Okay, well, and
I'm very confident in my team, but
I know, but there's people who won't say things because they go, oh, if I say that, I'll lose for sure. Now, I have no problem saying, looks like I'm beating you, motherfucker, even though I'm winning by 1.
Call me superstitious.
Yeah, I know. I'm not superstitious, so I don't care. I have more fun shit talking than what comes back on me that way. But so Megal, I will probably text you sometime during this week a little bit. Just saying. I might nut you a tad.
I'm just telling you, especially Sunday, if my team's going off and yours is shitting the bed,
then I'll hear from you.
I will probably be at your house
and
knocking on the door.
You are welcome. All 3 of you are welcome. That's not a problem.
I'll be banging on the door, just talking shit. I mean, talking all kinds of shit.
Jim, do you have to work Sunday? Can we sign a note from your mom or anything that gives you the Sunday off? It's the semifinals, man.
Come on, man.
I took last Sunday off for the death of poor little Tico, so I can't take off again. I gotta put some. So
this time you can't take off.
Make some dreams come true.
You can take a day off for like a 19-year-old little dog. It was all gray and barely ate pudding.
I get off at 6.
Took off. But you can't take off for the week that you're going to get killed by B-Rod. I would think that would be the one.
Is that your prediction, Mark?
Prediction.
Come on, just say it.
I think Brody has the better team and he has the bench to support any weird shit that happens this week.
I don't know how to look it up on my phone without everything switching over.
That being said, Jim's team got so much better 2 weeks ago that he has some upside players too, even though he was saying, down a little bit. I do think Jim has some upside guys, but he needs them to be upside this week.
I think the momentum's on my side. I mean, my entire season has just been a storybook, and
your players know this. Your players know this.
And I mean, Brody's entire fantasy career has just been nothing but repeated failures. I mean,
in the Super Bowl, though, man, I got to make it to the Super Bowl.
Shortcomings, unmet
I'm going to be the falls of Brody.
Hey,
the 4 falls of Buffalo.
Quick question, too. You guys brought it up on, I think, Lou Landers for maybe next year, something to think about. And I kind of like the idea when you brought it up, even if we got to up what we pay another $10. And obviously Brody would have gotten paid this year, but I like the idea of the end of the season guy gets 30%.
We have talked about that. Clay and Dally back in the day did not like anybody getting paid but the Super Bowl winner. And
how is the payouts this year? I don't even know.
75-25, the same as it's been.
I like the idea. You guys brought it up on Lou Landers.
Yeah.
I really like the idea because that keeps number 1 pushing and number 2 pushing to actually win and not you bagging for second place so that you can pick whoever you want. You still are in the money for something. And I think that first place should be rewarded. And I'm saying this to B-Rod. He had a hell of a fucking season. He really did. And I think that should get paid out.
Who ended up being the top scoring no-win points?
It might have been, I was going to say, it might have been Magel.
It was me. Might have been about it, bitch.
Well, okay, so you had the most. Lou Landers, though, said that, though. The one league he plays in, they pay out the guy with the most points, not the guy who wins.
I like that either way. Either way, I like that. Even if the top guy and the top points guy split that 30%. I think
you beat me by 13.
Yeah, I was going to say 13 points.
Yeah, that's you, Megal.
Who cares if it's by 1 point? I still win.
True, that's true.
That's true. No, I think that's something that we should bring up for next year. I like that. Even if we got to – is $10 going to break anybody, really?
Well, hey, Brody's been in this league with me. I've tried to up it every year, and we actually brought it down. Or we one point I thought we got to $50, and then the next year we did 44.
No, I think we stayed at what we were last year.
Yeah,
but I was always up for more. I was always up for that.
I think
I like that idea. I think it's neat.
I also say if whoever is going to play me next week in the championship, I always say winner take all. So
yeah, I've done
that's
that.
up in the air.
I
Hey,
have
B-Rod, if it's me and you,
Oh yeah,
fine.
winner take all.
I've always done winners take all also. So I've always done it that way. And me and Brody have done side bets. Again, I've always done side bets too. So
Which
Diego, I'll
fucked
talk
me.
to you this week. If you want to work side bet, so we have some action going on. We'll we can come up with something.
I'll do a side bet. I don't give a shit.
I know I can be creative with my side bets though.
No gay porn.
Think about him hard because
No, it's not gay porn.
out of something.
And again, I would do you, Magel, the same bet I did Brody last year. All right. And that was that we played for 2 weeks. The total, whoever won the total, our total points for the next 2 weeks, that person wins, gets the second place money. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll do that for 20.
So
yeah.
if you beat me this week and you go to the Super Bowl, but I still outscore you for the 2 weeks and you lose the Super Bowl, which is what happened to Brody, then you give me the second place money.
I'll do that.
But if you beat me, if you beat me overall, then you would get second place money and first place money. I mean, I pay you whatever second place would have been. So
I'm game.
the whole thing kind of worked out that way. The way me and Brody didn't put any other money out of his pocket. He just was putting up money he wasn't gonna, that he wasn't gonna get.
I love
Brody
bet.
lost
I
the
love
Super
to
Bowl
bet. So
and the
yeah,
side
I'd
bet.
be up for that.
Brody lost the Super Bowl and the side bet.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Wow.
Losing
Yeah.
is in his blood. I'm not worried.
Yes. Brody lost the Super Bowl and he did not get paid for
Embarrassing. Listen, Jimmy. I was up by like 100-something points to Mark on going into that next week. So I literally
he beat me by like 110 points week 1, and then I beat him by like 130 the next week. I kicked the next week.
It was insane.
I scored like 240 or something. I'd have kicked everyone's ass in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And Brody ended up getting his ass kicked instead by Kyle.
Last place, Kyle.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. And yes, I did get my second place money out of Brody. So, Jim, you do have that bad luck of B-Rod on your side going into this week. Just saying. He's pretty weak when it comes to, having luck on this side. Well, guys, we killed an hour talking about our week to be. I'm pretty excited. And again, we'll start talking shit here as the week gets closer. What about the Thursday? Who plays Thursday? Anybody have Thursday? I think Jim had a Thursday guy.
Yeah, Jim has somebody.
I've got one.
Ingram.
Oh, yeah.
I've got one on my bench.
Oh, it's Baltimore versus the Jets or some shit. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Magel, then you would have your
I've
running
got Bell.
back. You're gonna play Bell, right? So
And I haven't decided on Brown, but I doubt I'll play him. But it depends on injuries.
all right. You want me to finish with the tip of the day? I'm going to help you, even though we're opponents now, because I had to tell this to Zach last week. It's coming down the point now, especially the Thursday games. If you're not playing a guy on Thursday, he shouldn't be on your roster. Just saying. We're getting to that point. No, I'm serious. You need to pick up people that maybe, can help you next week if you get in the Super Bowl, or can help you, on Sunday if something weird happens. I'm just saying.
I don't mind playing him, but when you got 4 guys questionable, and
Well, you might need him. That's the point. But you
Might
can't
need him.
use him. If you don't use him, he's on your bench questionable, and someone else can't play, then you don't have someone to fill their spot. That's all I'm telling you.
but if
It's
you're
hard to keep rostered people on your bench on Thursday night that you're not playing.
But if you're as fortunate as me, like I played it this year, I've been playing both sides. I'm playing 4 keepers, and I've got 4. Actually, I've got 6 pretty good keepers.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And I'm still in the top 4.
Yeah,
and
that's
probably, depending
So,
on how
wait,
everything
Mel-
goes, I'm going to be
Mel's already-
playing. I'm
Mel's
going to be
already
playing
said
B-Rod or Host
Super Bowl
Smasher.
next
So.
year, right? Mego, you're already saying you're going to be in the Super Bowl next year?
No, I'm just saying, if you would have listened to my comment and not interrupted me, I will probably be playing B-Rod or Host Smasher. So we'll see.
B-Rod.
We'll see.
Oh, Smasher. All right. Gotta love them all. Guys, I had fun. Good luck. Congratulations to get this far, because obviously there's 8 other idiots in this league that aren't enjoying this fun podcast show tonight, including my own kid who's over at Meggles somewhere in the basement. I don't know what the hell.
He's waiting on my wife to make him cookies.
Oh my God. He is such a pain. Now,
It's such a bitch.
me and Zach play each other next week, and I'm in 3 money leagues. I made 3 semifinals. I'm not bragging. I'm just good.
You're bragging.
And one of those leagues, I play Zach next week. So he's going down. I am the number 2 seed in that league, and he's the number 8. He beat the number 1 seed by like 8 points.
Yeah, he said that.
And Zach didn't even know he made the playoffs. He's like, I didn't even know. I didn't think I could even make it. And then he ends up beating the number 1 seed, and I'm the number 4 seed, and we play each other this week. So,
Hey,
I'm going to be in 3 Super Bowls this year.
but which one matters the most?
Well, okay.
Does the other ones have a goblet?
Nope, they don't have a goblet. They
So
do have
fuck the other league.
They have a big WWE belt. So,
Ooh, that's kind of enticing.
yeah, it is a big WWE belt with my name on it. And trust me, when I win that, you're gonna see me holding the goblet with the big belt around my shoulder.
I don't want to see that damn belt.
You should not get to show that on the podcast.
Yeah, no belt.
He's shown that like 3 times.
I'm a Super Bowl champ. I've won.
You know what? Just keep showing it, because
Years
that's gonna fuck you up.
Years ago. Whatever. You guys know I'm the person to beat every year. There's no one in this league that doesn't go. Even Jim. Jim's been in this league for like 10 minutes. Jim already knew I was the guy to beat. Like week 1, Jim was like, I don't want Mark to win. Mark sucks. Mark's terrible. I'm just saying, I'm going to the league history. So this is the league history. Last year, champion. Why did they put the team names instead of, okay. All I'm saying is last year, 3rd place. That's what I got. 3rd place. 2017, 2nd place. 2016, champion. 2015, 3rd place. 2014, 3rd place.
Mark.
It's starting to sound like Birdie.
I'm always there.
This sounds terrible, man.
Mark, you're
Sounds
missing.
terrible.
You're missing something.
No,
The Host Smasher and Meggle were not in the league then.
that's true.
Well put.
So
And I didn't know what I was doing.
Brody didn't know what he's doing. That's true. And I still don't believe Brody knows what the fuck he's doing. All right, guys, we went over an hour. Had a great time. Good luck, everyone. I'm rooting for it. Hey, I don't hold grudges, but I do like to smack. We're going to smack talk. Me and Meggle.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to smack talk Jim, too. Jim, how'd you do in your other league? That's a 2-week playoff for you there, right?
Yeah, the other week I'm heading into the 2nd round.
That's your
15
fucking lineup.
points down.
Do not disappoint me.
Yeah, I had Eckler on the bench, who I would have put in for Josh Jacobs that didn't play.
God.
Come on.
God.
are you winning or are you done?
No, I'm down by 15 points. It's a 2-week round.
2-week playoffs. 2-week playoffs are awesome. I actually like that, but it's hard to do in our league when we let 8 people in the thing. So you really can't do it, but they are kind of fun because it takes a little luck out of it or injuries. You can kind of wave through it a little bit. So, all right, guys, this is it. Just say goodnight. We'll stay on for a few minutes for an after show, but I got shit to do. So we'll just stay on real quick. But on the podcast, we're ending right now.
This has been Just a Fantasy Fan podcast. And to keep your fantasies going, follow us at justafantasyfan.com. Say good night. Good night.
And we're out on the podcast. This is the after show, and Jim Ross he lives in New England, but he hates the Patriots. He's an Eagles fan, and he's
That's got to be rough.
he's rooting for my Bengals to beat the Patriots. And I have to root against my Bengals because Tom Brady needs to get back on track this week. So I'm definitely rooting.
Tom Brady and Bill Belichick should be jailed.
No,
what they did
whatever.
last
That's this. If you're gonna get caught spying on a team, is it gonna be the last place Bengals? They've
probably been doing it all year. They've been doing it all year.
That's the Patriots.
Bill Belichick's been caught for this before.
Okay, if anything, they suck. They get caught too much. I think if other teams are doing it too, if they're doing it.
No, they came out. They were filming for the little hit documentary.
Yeah, but they filmed the
Supposedly.
sideline.
Yeah, a documentary called "How We Cheat."
Yeah, man, it's 8 minutes of the sideline just doing hand signals. That sounds like a good documentary.
It also came out that the cameramen were told to say that even the last time when they got busted doing that.
Well, again, I mean,
Oh, no, that's smart.
I don't think you can get too mad about a team that pushes the rules. Because to me, everything they've got caught doing is just pushing the rules. Get it? Some people say cheating's cheating, and I get all that, but I don't know. Brody, if Pittsburgh was just barely cheating a little bit, you'd be like, hey, all right,
The same thing happens in NASCAR.
We're not cheating.
It happens in
Guys
every
do this.
sport.
It happens in every sport.
Right.
And everybody makes a big deal because
there's
it
a
happens
reason
in
we have to
football.
drug test athletes, right? I mean, there's a reason to drug test them. Everyone's trying to get a little edge.
Look at what is it? Russia now that's out for blood doping for the next two Olympics.
Right. I don't even know what would be so. I mean, obviously, if it's so bad, they would ban them or they would do something. And that's the point. They're not doing anything, letting the air out of the balls a little bit because it's cold. Hey.
That got laughed out of a federal court by
because it's
federal
stupid.
judge because there was evidence.
The referees had the balls in their hand during the game. Isn't that the referee doesn't, Jim, you've probably handled enough balls. Eventually, when one ball's not the same as other balls. My point would be the referee touched the ball every time and put it on the ground. And not once did he go, oh, this is so flat, we're not going to use it. I mean,
but no, there's a difference. There is a difference there.
What?
Have you ever felt 2 pounds of difference in a football? There is a huge difference.
That's my point. Why didn't the referee notice that difference?
Why would he?
Because he's touching balls all day long.
You're not going to notice 2 pounds as a referee. As a pro football player, you probably are.
I've had this argument on other podcasts years ago. I've done.
Yeah, but you've got educated people here now.
Well, no, actually, those we have educated. Megal, I mean, in all levels of football, you use your own balls. Name me another sport where you get to use your balls and the other team doesn't get to. In baseball, we all hit the same ball. In basketball, we don't stop and go, wait, now it's Milton's ball. So we got to give them their own basketball. No.
Yeah, but they're all made at the same factory. It doesn't matter. No. They're all made at the same factory.
Then why?
They don't need to be at the same PSI.
Team balls? I'm just asking, even in high school, we have team balls. Why have team balls in a sport where they should be using the same ball unless the fucker goes into the stands and then you grab another ball? I don't even like that they take them out when they're wet and shit. It's like, it's fair for everybody. Use
because you're playing a game that is played outside in all different inclement weather.
Teams are playing outside.
Basketball's not played outside. Neither's hockey. None of those are played
Baseball
outside.
Is motherfucker.
Baseball sucks. It's for athletes that are not athletes.
But Nagel, I still don't understand. I don't think you're seeing my point. The fact that
Brody and I love this argument.
The fact that New England gets to use their balls on offense, and then when the Bengals go on, when the Bengals are on offense, they get to use their balls. What's different? Why are they? If they're not different, why do we use two different balls?
You have to have a standard, though. You can't have somebody using a football that's got no air in it and another one that's got a ton of air in it.
What's the difference then?
Air pressure.
Right.
Including all making the same argument.
The kickers blow their balls up. I know when you're a kicker, you want the ball to be hard. Yeah. So their ball is max pressure or above, I've heard. So, but I still don't see. My point still is, name me another sport where we use a different ball for each team. I think it's asinine that we do that in football. That's all I'm saying. The NFL should give the referees 10 balls and say, guys, if you can't get this game done in 10 balls, then
give it to the refs. That's fine. Do that. But like baseball, you can't change the air pressure of a baseball.
Yeah, but I still don't think you're
a lot
seeing,
of the baseball though. Last couple of years in football.
actually in different stadiums they treat the baseballs differently before the game.
Yeah.
They actually do.
Colorado.
But
Yeah.
what were you saying, Jim?
I mean, professional golfers all are responsible for providing and using their own golf balls, different brands, different spin rates,
But
and
it's a golf ball.
I mean, it makes a huge difference, though.
It makes a difference,
Get
though.
that,
It does.
but
The
it's not
difference-
something that you can add or take out air pressure.
The difference in golf,
Yeah, you have
though,
different-
Jim, versus the other ones, though, is in golf, the other team isn't playing with that same ball also. Meaning when Tiger hits his ball, then Phil Mickelson isn't going up and hitting it next. So, they're not then switching where.
Yeah, but in the NFL, offenses use their own balls.
But
the
defense is
defense,
also
they
trying to-
intercept
right, the
it.
defense is still trying to intercept it. And do all
They
that.
don't have the ball most of the time.
Yeah, I mean,
Fuckers. I'm just saying. I still think it's stupid. I just think it's stupid.
my big thing is that you don't lose a game in complete ass raping blowout fashion because of 4 PSI.
And I agree with that.
But-
That's the argument on that one.
Oh yeah.
The
Hey,
Colts were getting
hey.
their ass beat bad before the ball, and then even worse when the balls got to normal.
No bullshit. If Tom Brady can grip a ball different because it's got 2 PSI less, and the receivers can grab it better, it's just like NASCAR. Oh, what's 1 or 2
Degree.
horsepower going to do? Well, yeah, it's going to win you the race.
So you're gonna say baseball sucks, but we're gonna
Baseball
sit here
doesn't
and talk
have
about
PSI.
fucking NASCAR.
It's a
We're gonna
fucking,
talk about
it's
NASCAR.
a fucking ball that has straw in it.
NASCAR's been known for more cheating than any other sport there is.
Oh, NASCAR's horrible.
Yeah, they're
But
because
they've got
all-
other ways they can cheat. Same way with football. You can cheat PSI with a football. In other sports, you cannot. Basketball's played with 1 ball, and
Right.
they're in an
Both teams play
arena,
with the same ball.
in a climate
And
controlled
the referee
environment.
holds it up and drops it, and if it bounces to his waist, it's approved.
Yeah, and it's a climate controlled environment.
Climb my ass. But
It is.
I know. I'm just saying. I don't think anything. I'm not a Patriots fan. I know Jim is, but I still don't believe anything the Patriots have done is what I call outlandish rule break.
So filming an opponent's sideline, getting their signals is not an advantage,
I never said it wasn't an advantage, but if this
which they have gotten busted for.
specifically against the rules at the time, then technically it's not cheating. Is it?
No, if it's
ethically
not
wrong?
against rules, I'll give you that. Yeah.
If it's
Spoken like a
ethically
true
wrong,
New England.
yes.
No, you're using
But do I think the Patriots have been unfairly punished for things that aren't, explicitly
The one
cheating?
time they were just filming a practice.
honestly.
Well, no, wait. Listen,
honestly,
we can't even talk. We can't even
Belichick.
talk about this week
Belichick-
because he's still pissed off about the calls that they didn't get last week. Oh, one time you guys don't get the fucking calls.
Belichick is a
All we hear
god
about
at-
is all week.
running the line. Belichick is phenomenal at that.
And I think that's great. I think I like that. I wish the Bengals would walk that line.
I do too. Honestly,
You know?
So
how
many
many
other
Super
teams
Bowls do they have because of it?
do it too. I mean, you had the Saints with Bounty Gate. You had Atlanta pumping crowd noise into the fucking stadium.
Well, again,
Have they won?
everything.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. And
Belichick's a genius.
unfortunately,
I will give you that.
everything we're talking about, I don't think the Patriots are the only team that has done.
Oh, no.
Including the Saints aren't the only team that had Bounty Gate. In the 70s,
no.
everybody got paid extra money if you knocked out the quarterback. I mean, it was just the way the game was played back
It's
then.
the same thing with college football. Look at you. When you hit the top and you're number 1 forever, like Alabama, like Ohio State, where do the accusations come from? Who's the teams that get nailed?
Right.
The ones that are at number 1
No one
and
is
that have been there for a while.
No one is watching the Bengals for
'Cause
cheating.
they're on a highlight. Yeah, because they're losers.
Right. They're losers.
They can't win a game.
Right. I agree. I agree. I mean, and I've said it a million times. I'm not a Patriots fan, but I'm glad I lived to see what, unfortunately, good or bad, is one of the greatest dynasties in sports right now. It just don't get it like that anymore.
They're phenomenal.
And I still don't get the Belichick. I can't wait. I'm not even a reader, but I can't wait to read Belichick's tell-all book if he ever says one, because he's never said a word ever. So
It's going to be a lot of him and Tom Brady sucking each other's dicks.
What
I just hope we sign Antonio Brown.
Unfortunately, even coaches that leave there go on and don't succeed, so they can't duplicate what he does, and they know what he does. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's even the thing.
Well, it's not just him. I mean, everything. It's the perfect storm. I mean, it's the
I think that's bullshit, Jim. You're a fan of what you just said is bullshit. It's the perfect storm if it lasts 3 fucking years. This is 14 years in the making. This ain't a fucking storm.
I was going to say 3 years. That's been
climate fucking change.
No, it's the perfect storm to be able to create. Anyone like look at the Seahawks. They put together
the arguments. There's only three people that have been involved this whole time. Only 3: Belichick, Brady. That is it. Those are everyone else. They have lost more coaches in the last 14 years than any other team.
They don't give a shit about who's playing for them, who the receivers are.
They have a philosophy.
They still win.
Just different.
They still win.
But my point is, the coaches that leave Belichick's side and go coach somewhere else, they don't succeed either. And I'm sure they're trying to do the Belichick way. It doesn't work. So I believe that here's
because they're not Bill Belichick.
Here's my comment. I think the Belichick way only works if you've been winning for 7 or 8 years, and then it works, and it works for another 7. These other coaches, you can't go in where you haven't won yet. You can't go to Texas. You can't go to, actually even what's his name left and went to Notre Dame and couldn't win there. You can't go to these places and win.
Matt Patricia.
You can't. The Belichick way doesn't work if your team isn't already winning, because you can't just look at that guy and go, cut him. I don't like him anymore. Or he didn't come to practice, or he was late one day, so I'm going to sit him on the bench for 3 weeks. And you don't have people coming and signing to play with your team for less money, which, hey, they've been good at that. They get a lot of veteran guys that come and play for the minimum because they know they're going to get a ring. Those things you can't do, huh?
I will agree with that, because you get players that, could be really good or were really good and, they're still decent now, but have never won, at the higher scale.
Right. They come in amounts of money.
And, basically all Bill Belichick has to tell him is, hey, do you want to win? Sure. This is what it takes.
Now, and the last thing I'll put in the Patriots side that has helped them is, for the last 14 years, that division has fucking sucked. The other 3 teams have laid down. So again, the Patriots are going to be in the playoffs right from day one, because the Miami's going to suck. Buffalo's doing good this year, but they've sucked for 13 of the 14 years. Yeah. The Jets have sucked. I mean, that's also part of the perfect storm.
But in most accounts, they're still going to win no matter where they're at, because they're going to have.
True.
Okay,
they're going to be at least 14-3 or 14.
No, it doesn't, Mangle. They're guaranteed 6 victories just because they're playing the Jets, Miami, and the Buffalo twice every year.
Doesn't matter. Well, okay, I get that, but they're still winning.
Well, but
even when they play those teams.
But my point is, though, the fact that you already have the guarantee built in somewhat that you're going to win your division gets you to sign that veteran guy.
No,
you're at least guaranteeing him, hey, I'll get you in the playoffs. We may not win the Super Bowl, but we're going to try. We're going to at least be there. That's the point. They've been guaranteed, winning their division now for 14 years in a row. I'm kind of excited. Buffalo looking good right now. Damn, they're the surprise team for me this year.
That's been shocking.
Yeah.
Allen's been good.
But again, when they played the Patriots, again, it's hard to beat that team in your division. But I think it's pretty cool that I've been alive during a lot of things, and this run of 14 years has been pretty amazing. And I will read the Belichick book, but again, I still think the Belichick way doesn't work until after you've won a few years. You have to have those winning years, 4 or 5 years, to where then you can look at people and go, if you don't want to play here, get out.
Hey, Brody.
Like Brody. So
no, I was saying, hey, Brody.
Mark, what's up?
Mark said he's been alive during a lot of these things. Didn't he see the birth of Jesus Christ too?
Just about.
I was gonna say something like
that gives him a lot of knowledge. I mean, he's seen
I was gonna say
all the Super Bowls, everything.
Or Bill Belichick. grew up with Lombardi, so
making fun. I remember Bill Belichick, when he was with the Browns and he couldn't win a game. The Bill Belichick way didn't work there. Why? Because they couldn't win.
Because he didn't have a goat.
They cut him before he could start winning. So that's the other problem. The fact that Kraft said, you know what, I buy into this guy's system. I'll let him go a little bit. And he started winning and it went from there. No, I have. Megan, you've been along. I mean, there are some amazing sporting events that have happened in the last, 50 years, the world records and the things that have done. And, some of the greatest athletes, the Michael Jordans. I mean, there's people that, the LeBron James, the damn baseball, 65, 69 home runs, the steroids, the, pitchers, now Megan, in our lifetime now, there's pitchers pitching 100-mile-an-hour pitches almost daily, where when just 10 years ago, you might only see 100-mile-an-hour pitch a couple times in a whole season. I mean, there's just all kinds of shit. Secretariat, now you're not old enough to remember. I mean, I got to see Secretariat, win the Kentucky Derby by about 900 miles. It's only a 2-mile race, but Secretariat won by I mean, I've seen a ton of that. We got to see Dale Earnhardt, maybe one of the greatest race car drivers. I'll even throw NASCAR in there. I mean, in our lifetime, Muhammad Ali, I got to see live. I mean, I watched him live on, when boxing was on
damn, you
TV.
are old. Jesus.
I'm just saying.
You got to see him live.
Yeah, I saw Muhammad Ali fight live on TV.
On TV. Okay.
No, right. No, but no. Oh, because they had live TV back then. You actually got to watch Muhammad Ali fight on, Wild World of Sports and shit like that.
The Wide World of Sports. Dang it. No, I don't remember that. Sorry.
You don't? Sorry, Megal.
Yes, I do.
Hey, I gotta get off.
All right, we're all going. Guys, good luck this week. Ho Smasher. Kick some B-Rod ass. Megal, I hope your team doesn't get too hurt, because I don't want you to cry and say only beat you because of that, because I think I'm going to beat you either way. But, hang in there. I got confidence in you. And
I'll even beat you with the people I have to plug in. So
I know. Damn it. I feel so bad. I'm just glad that you're going to be done at 1:00 so I can party and be drunk at 4.
It's going to be just like when I was plowing.
Send me a video of Mark moping at basketball, just limping across the court because.
Hey, Brody, great idea. Thanks, Jimmy. That's what we need to do Monday. Take a live video of him moping across the floor.
On Monday night, so there's no way I know I won't be out of it still on Monday. There's no way. Well, like I said, I would have said that last year, and Brody beat me by 118 or whatever. So there's a chance, but I'm guessing at worst case, I bet I'm down 20 or 30 points on Monday. That would be the worst case. And if I'm down 20 with Breeze,
still got a chance.
I still would be going, all right, I'm not going to bed early. This is going to go to the fourth quarter, but I'm going to have a chance. If it's 30, I'm going to be sweating. If it's more than 30, I'm going to go, I'm probably going to lose, but definitely Breeze can do it. So that's kind of where I'm at.
No, I get it. I do.
I mean, so you have to be, I would say, if I was you, I'd be watching my team. I'd be going, I need to be up 40 or more. I need to be up 40 or more on Monday. That's kind of the goal you have to do.
Actually, I'm hoping I'm up like 50 or 60 Monday. But
see, then I would,
40 will be enough. 40 will be enough.
I agree. Breeze isn't going to go back-to-back 40s. I don't know that that's possible, but it's fun. You have Rodgers. Who's your other quarterback?
Kyle Allen.
He runs the ball. You need him to run and score 2 touchdowns on the ground. That's always a big help.
Yeah, that'd be useful. Yeah. I mean, either way, I'm either going to be on here talking shit, or maybe I'll just take my podcast by a week, like
all the other losers.
No.
Hey, who's your 2 quarterbacks?
Winston and Wentz.
Oh, Wentz. Oh, he looks good. Brody, who do you got?
Honest, went over 300. So.
I know. Yeah, because they had to play an extra quarter for that.
No, because it stopped raining.
Oh, well, that's true.
That was
Brody. You have 2 good quarterbacks, Dak and
Prescott and Watson.
Yeah. All right.
Prescott got lucky last week.
Unfortunately, I need Tom Brady. I only want 15 to 20 out of Tom Brady. I don't need Tom on a big day against the Bengals.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
I'm going too.
Yeah, it's same.
Good luck. Bye.
See you, bro.